What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to We Sibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. What a wild 2 days it's been for DC with the Snydercut leaking on HBO Max. Superman and Lois tonight, but right now we're talking The Flash, Episode 2. This is going to be a review, reaction, biggest takeaways all rolled into one. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell. And Sid, what were some of the biggest takeaways we had from this episode?
Well, I think the first big thing that we realized in this episode is that Cisco and Caitlin are back. Yay! It was so nice to finally have like the OG characters back. I don't know why they didn't have them in the first episode. There's such a big pull. They have such huge fan bases. But whatever, exactly. I'm happy that they're back now.
Yeah, we were a little worried about that. We thought they were going to replace them with Allegra and Chester, I think his name was. But yeah, it's good to see some familiar faces. But they had a lot of work to do their first episode back.
They certainly did. And I think it's important that it was Cisco and Caitlin that were kind of beating Barry down because it couldn't have been Chester and Allegra. They just don't have the history. So that's a good
point. Oh, definitely not. Or the superpowers, or the experience with their superpowers.
Yeah. That's a good point, yeah.
So, obviously, we're talking about the elephant in the room, which is the fact that Barry gets super speed thinking. And first of all, this is a cop-out because he already has super fast thinking because of his reaction time. He's always running that fast. He has to be able to calculate at those kind of speeds. So, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I did think it was kind of lazy. It's kind of like, we already knew that Barry Allen was relatively smart, and we already knew that everything about him sped up, not just the fact that he can run fast. So yeah, I think it was a bit of a lazy choice. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like letting people know that Clark Kent used to live on a farm if they're only watching, a Superman TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll tell you what.
Clear to the comic book readers and maybe not something that the outside audience doesn't know.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. But honestly, either way, I didn't mind because I absolutely loved super thinking Flash. It was really cool to see him just take control of the entire situation. And even though it didn't turn out too well, I think that one thing that I've longed for from a lot of these superhero shows, and I mentioned this last week, is these heroes all came from comic books and even TV shows where they were the only and main superpowered person. They had to do everything. And so, then they started evolving with the guy in the chair or the girl in the chair. And it's gotten so much of a team thing. It was nice to see Flash kind of just running the entire show.
Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't it was weird seeing Barry so emotionally attached because you don't realize how emotionally engaged he is in the show until he took a step back. And it's like, whoa, like you don't care about anything but like getting the job done, which is like, it was cool, but I did miss regular Barry at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. And even when it came to Iris, and I think that was a surprising thing, the fact that we had thought he was running those calculations, thinking that Cisco and Caitlin and Allegra were going to choose to not bring Iris back. And it was fishy when we had first seen this, but then we find out that it's because he cannot predict emotional reactions. That human element is missing, and that's when we knew that he probably wasn't going to stay very long.
Yeah, and I think, too, it was pretty obvious that seeing Iris all shaken up on the floor and combusted is what broke him out of it. So there was some humanity there, but it was, like, buried very, very deep down. So I think that's something to note, too. There's
now I want to talk about a couple...
love between the two of them.
Yeah. I think, that definitely was a controlling factor. Now, obviously, we're going to get to the Reverse Flash stuff. Before we get to that, we'll talk about the Mirror Master thing. But I do want to note that there was a little bit of foreshadowing when they talked about how the Reverse Flash had used negative emotions in order to create that negative speed force and fuel that. I thought that was interesting that they mentioned that, and of course, we find that out later. But before we jump into that, let's talk about what's happening with the Mirror Master.
From last week that the Mirror Master, oh my gosh, my stupid headphone fell out. We knew from last week that the Mirror Master started to suspect that she was not the original Mirror Master, that she was a copy of herself. And that sort of comes to a head this week when Barry posts a video of her kind of jumping into this world. So you gotta wonder, and then at the end of the episode, she's like, this is not my world, this is not my world. The question is, where is the OG Mirror Master?
Right, so here's what I'm thinking. The OG Mirror... What was that?
Sorry.
Did you sneeze?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I just thought you yelled or something. But here's my thoughts on that. So the OG Mirror Master is dead. She died that night of the accident, and who we have now is the new Mirror Master. She wasn't talking to anyone else. I think that when she looked into that mirror, it just clicked that, oh, well, I could make the mirror world my world, even though my world is not the world I used to have. I will transform and recreate the mirror world in our world.
Okay, interesting. See, what I think is the original woman whose name completely escapes me.
Eva
She
Malak.
Eva, yes. Eva died that night. And I think the Mirror Master was created in the midst of all of that, and that's the Eva we're seeing now. Kind of like a it's like a Green Goblin versus Norman Osborn situation where like he looks in the mirror
Green
and sees
Goblin
his true
is
self.
Norman Osborn. Are you talking about his son Harry, who is the Hobgoblin?
No, you know how in Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, he's talking to himself in the mirror and realizing his true self?
Oh, yes. I understand.
Yes,
Now.
it's like Green Goblin and Norman Osborn situation with Mirror Master at the end of the episode.
Yeah, except in this situation, there's only the new Eva. The old
Right,
Eva
exactly.
is dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So from there, let's get into what's happening with the Reverse Flash. We got some OG footage from like season 1 or 2, in which we see the Reverse Flash come back and put what reassembled as wells from some tachyon particles into the ground.
Yeah, it was pretty trippy. Now, I know, like, to see Eobard Thawne again as Eobard Thawne and not as Harrison Wells. Now, we know that Eobard Thawne has, as the Reverse Flash, has been on a couple of other DC shows. We know he's, been messing around in Legends and whatnot. But to see him back, it's like the last time we saw him, Barry had banished him. I think it was in season 3. Like, I don't think we've seen him in a while. So it seems like the Reverse Flash is manipulating time again to once again come back.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I could not be more excited for this. I think the best Flash was the old Flash. Seasons 1 through 3 were fantastic. Kind of ending with Savitar, the Savitar run. So I am more than happy to see the potential, pretty much confirmed at this point, of the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, coming back as a major villain and potentially the main villain for this entire season.
But see, I don't think the person that we saw standing on top of that grave was Eobard Thawne. I think
No, it wasn't.
Wells.
Eobard Thawne put him in the grave.
Right. So I think it was a Wells that's coming back, not a Reverse Flash.
Well, I think they're both coming back.
Okay.
Because just the fact
maybe.
that he reassembled there via the tachyons on that grave is going to change the timeline in some way, because he'll now begin to exist for us in the present, and that's going to change whether the Reverse Flash exists as he does.
That for sure was the original Harrison Wells. So there's a lot of theories, I'm sure, that are going to come out tonight on who that was. So let us know in the comments below who you guys think that was.
Yeah, also be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell, as we're covering the entire season of The Flash, Superman and Lois. WandaVision just ended, we covered that. The Walking Dead, you name it. Servant, Snowpiercer, we got it all here. So be sure to click all those buttons you do on YouTube. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you for episode 3, but stay tuned because we got Superman and Lois coming later on. Thanks so much for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.